The beauty of college football is you never know how truly good a team is going to be. They could begin the season ranked inside the top 10 and not even make a bowl game, or they could be ranked outside the top 25 and make it all the way to the college football playoff. There were a lot of surprising teams in college football this past season, but today we're going to be looking at the 10 teams that surprised everybody the most. But before we get to today's video, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. If you're watching this video, odds are you love college football, and odds are you aren't subscribed to my channel. So make sure to subscribe to one of the best college football communities here on YouTube. We might have a little home cooking with this one, as we're going to kick things off with Arizona State. They finished the season going 11-3, and they finished ranked number 7 in the final AP poll. I've been very vocal about my Sun Devils over the last month or so, and I strongly believe that they got screwed and they should have been playing in the semifinals of the college football playoff. Still, despite that, Arizona State was probably the biggest surprise in all of college football in 2024. They won 11 games, and that's a lot considering they were picked to finish dead last in the Big 12. No, that's actually 100% serious. If you look at most of these preseason voting polls, Arizona State was picked to finish dead last in the Big 12. Well, not only did they exceed those expectations and not finish dead last in the conference, they went on and won the Big 12. Like I mentioned, they were just a player or two away from going to the semifinals, and who knows, maybe putting up a fight against Ohio State and making it to the national championship game. Nobody expected anything from Arizona State in 2024. I know I certainly didn't. Personally, I didn't even think they'd make a bowl game, let alone make it to the college football playoff. So for Arizona State, they are my biggest surprise in all of 2024. Another team that was picked at the bottom of their conference entering the season was Indiana. Depending on what outlet you look at, Indiana was picked to finish either third, second, or dead last in the Big 10 entering 2024. Well, they exceeded those expectations as they finished the season winning 11 games and they made it to the college football playoff. This was the best season in the history of the program. The thing that makes this even crazier about Indiana is the fact that they've been terrible for a number of years. In 2023, they only won 3 games. In 2022, they won only 4 games. And in 2021, they won only 2 games. They were picked to finish near the bottom of the Big 10 for good reason. If you were to ask 1,000 college football fans prior to the start of the season to name the 2 teams that'll be playing in the ACC title game, I don't think many would have picked SMU. They fell to Clemson in the ACC title game, but they did make it to the college football playoff and they finished their season winning 11 games. Now, SMU was coming off an 11-win season, so seeing them win this many games shouldn't be all that much of a surprise, but they did move from the American Conference to the ACC. That was quite the jump for them, and clearly it didn't matter. They rattled off 9 consecutive victories in the regular season, earning a bid in the ACC title game. Now, unfortunately for SMU, their season did end on a bit of a snag as they fell to Clemson and then they got blown out by Penn State in the playoff game. But still, nobody was expecting SMU to be a top 25 team in the country, let alone a playoff team in 2024. Considering that a group of 5 team gets an opportunity to reach the college football playoff, Boise State being that team isn't really that big of a surprise, but I don't think anybody could have expected them to be one of the 4 teams that gets a first round bye in the college football playoff. After losing to Oregon in week 2, the Broncos rattled off 11 consecutive victories. They got a chance to play Penn State in the quarterfinal, where they did go head to head for most of the game, but Penn State did pull away near the end. Still, it was a fantastic season for Boise State, a team that many thought should have gotten a chance at the college football playoff many years ago when they were truly a powerhouse. Late in the season, it was looking like BYU was in the driver's seat to reach the college football playoff. The end of their season was rough as they lost back-to-back games to Kansas and Arizona State, eliminating them from Big 12 contention and the college football playoff. Still, it was a very impressive season for the Cougars. They finished the year with 11 wins and they came in ranked number 13 in the final AP poll. It was even more impressive considering this was an 11-win team that won only 13 games the previous 2 years. Again, had they not fallen to Kansas or Arizona State at the end of the season, they would have been playing in the Big 12 championship with a chance to secure a playoff bid. Earlier, I mentioned how Boise State was everyone's pick to probably be the group of 5 representatives representative in the college football playoff. Well, for a good chunk of the season, it was looking like that team was actually going to be Army. They began the season 9-0, and they were one of only a handful of undefeated teams still remaining. Unfortunately, their blowout loss to Notre Dame pretty much wiped out their playoff chances, but this was still a really impressive season for Army. Their 12 wins were the most in program history. Illinois was a weird team that I mentioned a number of times this season. They were a team that consistently had a good record, but I feel like nobody was talking about them at any point. They finished the season going 10-3, and they were ranked number 16 in the final AP poll. They entered the season with no expectations, and for good reason. Over the previous 4 seasons, this was a team that won a combined 20 games. Well, Illinois tied a program record with 10 wins. It was their most in a season since 2001. There were a lot of teams that we were talking about in the Big Ten, but again, I feel like Illinois was probably the most under the radar team of any team that finished the season ranked inside the top 25. Speaking of flying under the radar, UNLV was a team who, entering the final week of the college football season, was in the driver's seat at reaching the college football playoff. They were set to take on Boise State in the Mountain West title game, and with a victory, they would have secured one of the 5 automatic bids into the college football playoff. I know a lot of people are talking about a lot of these other teams, but I don't think that many people realize how close this UNLV team was to making it in. They finished their season with 11 wins, tied for the most in program history, going all the way back to 1984. Now, UNLV has been on the rise since 2020 when they won 0 games. They won 2 games in 2021, 5 games in 2022, and 9 games in 2023, but I don't think anyone expected them to win 11 games and be fighting for a potential playoff spot. Considering how South Carolina began the season, it's actually pretty remarkable that they were in the playoff hunt until the very end. Midway through October, this team was 3-3, and it looked like they'd be fighting for a potential bowl spot. Well, they won their final 6 games of the regular season, and they were on the verge of being a playoff team. Ultimately, they didn't get in, but had they had just one more win under their belt, they likely would have been one of those 12 teams. For South Carolina, this was their first 9-win season since 2017. We're going to wrap up today's video with Syracuse, who won 10 games and finished the season ranked number 20 in the AP poll. Now, I don't know who this is, so I apologize, but there was someone last season, I think when I was doing my hot takes videos, that was all in on Syracuse. They were saying the offseason they had, this would be an incredible offense, and they would be a contender in the ACC. Now, I didn't just write that off, I said I could believe it, and Syracuse would be a team that we all need to pay attention to in 2024. Well, whoever that person was, turns out they were spot on. Syracuse had one of the best offenses in all of college football this season, and that was largely due to the play of quarterback Kyle McCord, who threw for nearly 5,000 yards. Like I mentioned earlier, Syracuse finished the season with 10 wins, tied for the second most in program history. For the Orange, it's their most wins in a season since 2018. Well, that wraps it up for today's video. Who do you think was the biggest surprise in all of college football in 2024? Do you think it was a team that I talked about in today's video, or was there a surprising team that didn't get included that definitely should have been in here? Whoever surprised you the most, let me know in the comment section down below. Before you leave, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. I'm posting college football videos all off season long, so make sure to subscribe so you never miss a video. Also, don't forget to drop a like on this video as well. It helps out with that YouTube algorithm, and it helps share this video and my channel with more college football fans. Plus, it only takes a second to do. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.